Who won?
Okay.
Drum roll.
Okay.
And the winner is Caitlin Clark.
Clearly we want her out there. I think she draws so much attention and she's a phenomenal player. But at the same time, I think it's a great time for her to learn from the side.
Sophie Cunningham broke the silence, and then Lexie Hull made a remark that was very moving. Following their emotional and deeply personal statement about Caitlin Clark, fans throughout the league are holding their breath. These three ladies have developed one of the strongest bonds in the WNBA. But what they just revealed has changed everything. How could we go from victory to heartbreak in a matter of days? Take a seat as we reveal the heartbreaking turn of events that just shocked the Indiana Fever. The all-star departure of Caitlin Clark has stunned fans. July 17, 2025 was supposed to be a memorable day for all the right reasons. Indianapolis was glowing with pride as it got ready to host the WNBA All-Star Weekend. Caitlin Clark was highlighted on every banner in the city, all hotels were booked, and tickets sold out in a couple of minutes. The Indigenous star had swept the league at the age of just 23. They weren't just there to see a game, they were there to witness a moment in basketball history. Please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel if you enjoy the content. It may surprise you to learn that almost 85% of viewers have not yet subscribed. Even though it only takes a second and is free, it means the world to us. Have you already subscribed? Fantastic! I sincerely appreciate your help. Let's return to the video now. Clark had been well known long before he joined the WNBA. Her record-breaking run at Iowa astounded college supporters. But many people's concerns were confirmed when she joined the professional ranks. She was different. Fearless on the court, adept with the ball, and inspiring at all times. She had quickly become the face of the Indiana Fever. Her freshman year laid the groundwork. By her second season, though, she was more than just catching up to league veterans. She was passing them. That became undeniable when she won WNBA Player of the Year at the ESPY Awards in early July. The news stunned the league since Clark was ranked higher than important players like Breanna Stewart and A.A. Wilson. For someone who was still in the early phases of her profession, it was more than just an honor. It was a proclamation. A budding star's moment has arrived. As All-Star Weekend drew near, all eyes were on Indianapolis. In the three-point contest, Clark was the favorite. She served as the All-Star Game captain. The narrative had practically written itself. But just as the stage was being set, the plot took a sudden, unexpected turn. A few days after taking home one of the biggest honors in sports, Caitlin Clark declared her complete withdrawal from All-Star Weekend. No game, no match, no court appearance. The announcement was made with a thunderclap. How could a moment of victory end so quickly in silence? Fans, teammates, and reporters all asked the same question. How could everything have changed so fast? Behind the scenes, is there a more serious situation? Keep watching to see what really led to this sudden and shocking decision. A secret anguish was the reason behind Caitlin Clark's sudden departure. During a challenging game against the Connecticut Sun, Caitlin Clark began to move less vigorously, gripping her side as Louise flashed across her face. It happened in silence. At first, it seemed unimportant, maybe simply fatigue. But the voices quickly grew concerned as she limped toward the bench, obviously in pain. For weeks, she had been carefully tending to a groin injury, but it eventually became clear that she had made it worse. Her coach, Stephanie White, assured the public that she would be thoroughly investigated, but no one expected the outcome to be so catastrophic. A few days before, Clark had made headlines after being one of the youngest recipients of the 2025 ESPY WNBA Player of the Year award. Now she was distancing herself from everything. No All-Star game, no three-point shootout, and no time under the arena lights in front of her Indianapolis home crowd. Her July 17th announcement stunned the basketball community. The timing was really annoying. Clark said something brief but genuine. With a few lines and heart emojis, she conveyed to her admirers her disappointment and the significance of her health. She made it clear that she will still be there for the festivities despite being sidelined, providing the same enthusiastic support from the sidelines as she does on the court. It was a difficult but mature decision that showed her commitment to the long term, both for her own career and for her coworkers. After Clark pulled out of the competition, someone had to step up, and the WNBA didn't have to look far. Lexie Hull, Clark's feverish colleague, was selected to take her place. Despite receiving less attention from the media, Hull has been quietly producing one of her greatest seasons, particularly from outside the arc. Coaches knew she was more than capable of stepping up to the plate because she had one of the best three-point shooting percentages in the league. But when attention shifted to her, Hull was also coping with a personal tragedy. A few days before the news, she lost her beloved dog Maggie, who had been with her for 14 years. It was not just a pet. There was family involved. Hull shared the news on social media with a short, meaningful message and black-and-white photos of herself and Maggie. "The cutest Mag's house won't be the same without you," she wrote. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Among the thousands of condolences offered by fans in a world where pressure is constant and competition is fierce, two stood out. "I adore you," Caitlin Clark wrote. A colleague named Sophie Cunningham did not write any Lex. "I apologize." These few conversations revealed a much greater story of sincere friendship and emotional resilience. This was more than just a basketball team, it was a sisterhood. More importantly, they helped each other get through the good times and the bad. Every practice, press conference, and post demonstrated that Hull wasn't alone in her grief. These weren't just allies, they were lifelines. As Lexie Hull prepared to enter the game with a heavy heart and Clark prepared to applaud from the sidelines rather than lead on the court, fans began to notice something more powerful than numbers or trophies. They looked at the heart. They saw devotion. When the game pauses, they witness what happens. The relationships between players, however, do not. Was Sophie Cunningham the silent force that held things together in the face of injury, loss, and sudden change when no one else could? Keep an eye on this area to find out. Hull, Cunningham, and Clark's unbreakable connection. Sophie was well known for more than just her ability to get under opponents' skin and her defensive toughness. What truly set her apart was her unwavering devotion. Both the coach and the referee failed to step in when Caitlin Clark was hit severely during a game earlier in the season. It was Sophie. She immediately jumped to Clark's defense, confronting the problem head-on. Fans who saw something deeper in the situation applauded her, but the league penalized her. Someone who, instead of only playing with passion, guards with heart. After that, Cunningham was seen as more than just a teammate. She was regarded as a leader who stepped up when needed. Additionally, she wasn't only there for Caitlin. She also closely monitored Lexie Hull, especially during the difficult days following Maggie's passing. Cunningham quietly took on the role of big sister by erecting a wall around the younger players and making sure that no one ever felt alone. Whether it was on the sidelines, during practice, or through supportive private messaging, Sophie was always there. That intimacy was known to them. Fans observed the trio's special connection and dubbed them Tres Leches. It was cheerful and based on the popular dessert. But the significance was deeper. It stood for the harmonious fusion of three distinct flavors, Hull, Cunningham, and Clark, as well as strength and sweetness. One explosive star, one brave protector, and one silent warrior. They united to create the Indiana Fever's emotional core. Sophie embraced the nickname heartily. She even owned a custom jersey featuring cartoon versions of the three of them. Bright hues, happy faces, everything. As soon as the concept went viral, fans started donning their own copies to games. But the shirt was more than just a sweet tribute. It was proof that their relationship was more than just business-related. It was a genuine friendship. Whether they were celebrating a big win or coping with grief, these three ladies helped one another. Their bond went beyond drills and game plans. It was built on trust, time, and shared experiences both on and off the court. But to understand how this fearsome trio came to be, we need to look at how Sophie and Lexie began their respective careers with the Indiana Fever. How Caitlin Clark moved in with Lexie and Sophie. Treasures weren't just friends. It was the kind of unteachable inner fuel, silent perseverance, and shared wounds from battle. Sophie Cunningham was not looking for a fresh start when she moved to Indiana. When she got there, she was ready to stir things up. After 6 seasons with the Phoenix Mercury, she was used to the routine of going into a locker room where she already knew how things worked. But the fervor that had once driven her to dive for loose balls, trade elbows, and shout louder than the audience had started to wane. She didn't want to be comfortable. She wanted to feel the pressure again. That's what Indiana provided. A team that doesn't mind letting leaders take the lead, a young roster, and a community in desperate need of revitalization. So she barged in, laughing heartily, witty, and unafraid in her new role. Even in college, that was Sophie's signature. Back at Rockbridge High in Missouri, she had used expectations as stepping stones to dominate her way to 4 state crowns. With almost 2,000 points, 129 straight starts, and a reputation for taking every possession personally, that advantage was only strengthened during her stay in college at Mississippi. Sophie saw obstacles as inspiration, even though the WNBA would never be easy. She wasn't the most ostentatious. She was relentless even if she wasn't the tallest. That same brave and daring energy quickly made her the emotional center of Indiana, especially when Caitlin Clark's celebrity began to skyrocket. While Sophie was all fire, Lexie Hull provided quiet precision. By the time Hull joined the Indiana Fever in 2022, she had already made her stamp on Stanford's history with a chisel of focus and tenacity. Chosen 6th overall in the draft, her tardiness in the first round startled a lot of people. Without any fanfare, Lexie walked in. She brought receipts into the room. Her time in college served as a masterclass in tenacity. Collected 12 titles, made it to the Final Four, and ended it all with a national championship in 2021. She wasn't the kind of player who needed recognition from the media to prove her worth. She let the scoreboard handle it. Hull was special for reasons other than her stats. It was her perseverance. When it mattered most in games and seasons, she regularly provided clutch shots, defensive lockdowns, and double-doubles. In just her junior year, she scored 24 points against UCLA, 21 points against Louisville in the Elite Eight, and a game-winning double-double against Arizona. By her senior year, she had made 3 All-Pac-12 selections and had scored over 36 points in a single tournament game. Lexie never needed to talk loudly. She just showed up and finished the job. That's exactly what she brought to Indiana. At first, Sophie and Lexie couldn't have looked more different. One was bold and daring. The other was meticulous and cautious. On the court, though, their synergy was clear. They both understood what it meant to have influence without claiming credit. And these two laid the groundwork for Caitlin Clark's rise to fame as a generational talent who attracted attention from all around the world. Sophie protected it. Lexie steadied it. Their friendship was not forced. The grind, post-practice shooting drills, late-night hotel conversations, and the kind of quiet support that only shows up when no one else is present all contributed to its development. Tres Leches was more than just a nickname. It was a survival tactic. Each person gave something that the others needed. Clark's flair, Cunningham's fire, and Hull's focus. They were strong and more than just teammates. But what made their relationship unbreakable? Was it made in the shadows, when no one was around, or in the spotlight? Watch to see how commitment and loss forged a solid friendship. It began with small events that most people never witness. For example, after winning one of the biggest honors of her career, Caitlin Clark learned she would miss the All-Star weekend due to injury. She had spent years preparing for what was supposed to be a momentous occasion. But rather than celebrating, she was excluded and had to watch her favorite game unfold without her. The disappointment was severe, but what followed?